I had an interesting choice I had to make because I love Barry and I've been waiting. I loved the way it wrapped up last season, and I was very much fascinated with what's going to happen. And usually what happens is you might get sent an episode, but I got sent almost all the episodes.
Yeah, you got sent everything but the finale. Yeah.
And my pact with my son, who adores this show, loves it, and has great taste, is that we watch them together.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been unavailable, and I was like, I don't know. And also I didn't want to cram. It was like this beautiful meal has been laid out that I'm looking forward to. And they're like, and so what I did was I decided I'll watch 1.5 without my son, which I did, and then I will watch the rest of the season unfold. And I trust you. Mm-hmm. I trust you guys. I know that you know what you're doing, but you have painted yourself into such an incredible corner, and I'm riveted. I'm absolutely riveted. I loved it, and I love where it's going, but you've put Barry in this impossible situation. Not just Barry, but I don't want to give anything away, but these characters are in this position where you think, I don't see a way out, and I'm just enthralled, absolutely enthralled.
Yeah, that tends to be what happens at the end of every season is we'll write it, and then at, beginning of season 3, I think my first day in the writer's room, I said, well, he needs to get caught. And so, I think we're writing towards that. I don't see how this can keep going. And then we did that. And speaking of Larry David, I saw Larry and he goes, I watched Barry. That's it, right? I said, no, we have a whole other season. And he went, why? I go, well, I think there's more story to tell. And he's like, but it's done.
This is because he ended Seinfeld with them all in jail.
Yeah, right. He's like, hey, they're done. Yeah, and so, exactly. I didn't think about that. That's true.
Jail means it's over.
Jail, over.
I established
done.
That.
It's like Monopoly. But he was just, we have that. And so you start every writing session for season 4. And this one was during the pandemic. Like the pandemic happened. We were 2 weeks away from starting to shoot season 3. Mm-hmm. The pandemic happened. And when I went to HBO and said, is it okay if we just write season 4 to have something to do? And then as we were writing season 4, we started to go back to season 3. Mm-hmm. And so I see 3 and 4 as kind of one big season. It kind of like it all kind of rolls into each other. But, season 4, you start off with him in jail and everybody he loves hates him. Mm-hmm. And no one ever finds the stuff I find funny. This doesn't ruin anything, but the opening of the season is Barry calling Gene Cousineau.
Yes.
And the first thing he says was, did you trick me?
Yeah. Did you trick me? And also, he's such like a child. Did you trick me?
He goes, did you trick me? And no one has ever laughed at that, but me and Allie Greer, the editor, Frankie Gutman, the other editor, we are crying laughing at how he's like Homer Simpson.
Yes,
we say that he has gotten progressively dumber.
Wait a minute.
He's got progressively dumber each season. And so, we just, it's you start with him there, and then it just turns into like, well, what would happen? What would you do? And then the characters kind of really dictate it. And so you kind of walk through all these steps, and you take a lot of, missteps. You go down avenues and it doesn't work. And from working at Saturday Night Live for so long, and doing this where it was such an immediate thing, what was so nice about the show is you could create something and feel like good, and then walk away from it, and then come back 6 weeks later and go, what the hell were we thinking? This has nothing to do with what the story's about. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's more about this, isn't it? And that was so helpful. So we had, 2 years of being able to kind of percolate these ideas. And then even with that, you're still on set going, Duffy Boudreaux, who's the co-writer and my oldest friend, we've been friends since high school. He's because he's been my friend for so long, you kind of know how it is where you're like on set, I'm the guy, it's my show. And so people are very nice, and I feel like I'm a very nice boss, but it is kind of like you hear the, Bill's on set. You know what I mean? It's like, Bill's here. So it's like, it's like Conan's coming up Conan's car's here.
Oh, trust me, there is none of that here. I assure you, there is no reverential
more
tone.
like, oh God, Conan's on set.
Put on your listening ears.
Get ready to laugh.
Put on your pretend happy face.
No, but it is that when I show up, it's like, oh, gee, like, and so it is. Everybody's kind of and it is nice to have your friend from high school there going like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or like, why would you? There's a scene in this. There's a little bit in the trailer, so I don't know, but there is a scene this season where Barry is at his lowest in the first episode, where he's kind of at his lowest point. And he's in a bathroom, and I kind of flip out in the bathroom.
That's a great scene.
Oh,
and very, very intense.
Very intense. Yeah, it was hard. It was, you 2 cameras. I'm directing it, so it's like, okay, we've got 2 cameras on me. I'm gonna flip out, and then we'll just keep going. And I'm gonna hit a wall, and we'll just keep going. And so I do what I think. I do the first take, and I'm feeling, wow, I really brought it, That was really good. And the door opens and Duffy comes in and goes, it's a lot of acting, dude. And I go, what? I go, well, that's why it's called, and you get into like a fight like you did like with your friend from high school. Like, well, that's what I'm doing, man. And he's like, look, I'm from Oklahoma. What do I know? But it was a lot of like, wait. A lot of like, hey, look at me, And he just walked out. And so I got mad, and I'm like, all right, let's go again. And then I in the scene, I start hitting myself. Mm-hmm. So the action, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I start hitting myself. Mm-hmm. And behind the wall, I hear, there he is. Like, there you go. Come on, man. But he doesn't have any, like,
There's no reverence.
There's no reverence. There's no anything. He's like, come on, man, what are you doing? And then Gavin Kleintop, our first AD, and Aida Rogers, our producer, they got to that place too. And that's infinitely it's so helpful. And our editors are like that, where I go, hey, you're not going to believe this scene we did. And they look at it and they go, that's pretty corny, Bill. And you need that. You need somebody to say, this doesn't feel like the show, man. I don't know what this is.
This reminds me of one of the times that I think was the first time Gary Shandling came on my late night show. We'd been on for a couple of years, and we got through the rough spot, and things were really starting to gel. And then I heard Gary was going to come on, which was just a huge, thrill. Never had met him in person, and he came on the show and was fantastic. And then afterwards, he came into my dressing room and sort of shut the door, like he just wanted to talk to me and see how I was doing. And he said to me, well, how's it, how's the staff? How are you guys, you feel good about? And I said, yeah, I do. I really have excellent people. And he said, do you feel like you have too many like yes men or something? And I said, Gary, I would kill for just one yes man. And he was laughing at that, but it was true. That's the kind of family I grew up in.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, people just sort of make jokes there, and I know that we all love each other, but we make a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of, hey, I just have to tell you,
hey,
your work really inspires me. That's not the that's not the environment I would be comfortable in.
Just thinking about it, you're laughing.
What's that funny?
I said that to you. I was like, Conan, you really inspire me.
Yeah.
So good.
I would say, how much money did you get paid?
Yeah.
Where's the camera? What's the joke?
You really inspire me to do the opposite.
To nap? Inspire you to nap?
You are wrapping up Curb. This is the last season.
Oh, yeah.
Is this news to you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
You regretting it? You can come back and you can just pretend you never told them this is the last. Yeah. You should do you should do a whole last season salute. Yeah. Get all the love. Get all that love gravy. Yeah. All of that. This was a benchmark show. What a landmark. It changed everything. And then come back and do another 3 more seasons.
You're really great on the callbacks, by the way. I think this is your 2nd or 3rd.
It's my 9th.
Yeah, it's your 9th.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, okay. We'll tally that.
Yeah, last.
One of the things that I think one of the things that, because my son really got into Curb and we started watching them again, and I thought, intentional, not intentional, but your style of comedy, it so fits younger people today, because there aren't laughs on it. It's a lot of reaction. Things are played very real. And I think it's one of the reasons why it endures so well. As I could talk to probably like a 15-year-old who would say, I love that show, which I think when they look at even some, great shows that I absolutely love, they maybe have a laugh track on them, and were shot single camera, or multicam, their interest in them has diminished a little bit because this is the style they like now. Do you think there's anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the multicam started, it's such an old format.
Yeah.
It started in like the early 50s, right?
Yeah.
So
I Love Lucy, Desilu.
Went all the way to the 2000. I guess there's still shows like that, but this show's improvised, and I think that lends a sense of reality and spontaneity to it.
Yeah.
That the young people enjoy.
Well, I think there's also, I can remember when I was growing up, I accepted it, but I'm watching Happy Days, and a character enters. There's massive applause, and the Fonz has to wait. Yeah. And we just accepted that.
Well, Kramer used to get applause when he would enter.
That's right. That's right.
And so everybody would wait, and then he would start talking. And then finally, I think we had to tell the audience not to applaud when he came in.
Right.
And we put a stop to it.
But no one else would put a stop to that. What I'm saying is that was so encouraged that it got to a point in the 70s and 80s on sitcoms where characters would come in with important information, like the tests are back and it's fatal, and the character would come rushing in, and people go like, "Whoa, look, it's Dr. Cuckoo!" and occasionally, and you'd see those characters would have to kind of nod and look out, and then, by the way, the tests are back. It's cancer of the spleen. You will not survive. And you're like, this is madness. But we just there's crazy. The things that I think I knew on some level this isn't good, even when I was a kid. But
also, there are scenes that are outside. And there's an audience laughing.
Yeah.
Where's the audience?
Where are they?
What are they, on the corner? It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like the other thing is that there's such a emphasis on jokes. And I knew that because really the only show like that I had worked on was The Simpsons. We worked so hard on jokes having to be just going over and over and over to get the best jokes. And then you find that, and I love that format, and I love working on that show and think it's brilliant, but on your show, what I loved, it's that old Jack Benny thing, the biggest laugh can be on a reaction. I mean, so many of your laughs are reaction shots, which to me is something that we maybe lost along the way. Do you know what I mean? It's like Buster Keaton, it's the classics. The stuff I always loved was the comedy where you were playing it real. And so much of Curb has been your utter disappointment and dejection or embarrassment or indignation. And those are my favorite moments, which aren't, the writing has set it up, but you wouldn't get it if you didn't see it.
I mean, the other thing, it's nice of you to say. I think it's the first compliment you've ever given to me in our relationship. So it means so much to me. So much to me.
Is it the first?
And thank you.
I think it is the first.
From the bottom of my whatever this is. I'm told
I have you're like the Grinch now.
I know.
Are you listening to Whoville?
But
the Larry David.
The thing about the 3-camera show, yes, the jokes, tons of jokes. They're coming at you one after another. There are people in rooms. There are writers in these rooms till 3:00 in the morning, punching up scripts, joke after joke after joke, and they tell the joke, and the character says the joke, and nobody ever laughs. Nobody ever laughs in these shows, which is odd because if these things are so funny, how come nobody ever laughs?
Right.
Well, they don't laugh because laughing is the hardest thing to act, I think, and be real.
That and drunk. I've always been told, being drunk is...
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
I got to get the fuck out of here.
Sorry, I didn't mean. I just wanted to tell you that you weren't quite right. Is it a big surprise who's on the final season? Is it a surprise?
Oh, wait a second. Have I been sitting here this whole time? Have we not acknowledged that this man right here,
Conan.
Thank you. This guy is in the show. Really? This year. Yes, he's a guest star.
I might be one of the reasons it's the final season.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel, huh?
And he gave me a compliment before. And I know you think, oh, well, he gave me a compliment. Now I'm going to return the compliment. He was so-so. Yeah. No, it was great. It was great. We had a great time. He was you were very good, and thank you for doing it.
Well, I'm sure I was compensated.
It's the only reason I'm here today, actually. It's a tit for tat, and I had to do the tat. He did the tit, and
I did the tit.
I had to do the tat.
Yeah, I always do the tat.
Yeah.
You always do the tat.
Yeah, and I don't like being a tat, by the way.
You should.
It's not uncomfortable being a tat. I'd much rather be the tit. Yeah.
Such a stupid. I'm sorry. Let's take that out of context. Let's get started. We're losing all this good stuff.
Yeah, okay. Come on.
We'll start with you reading that, and you can fill in the blank however you like. Yes.
Oh,
right here.
First of all, what do you think you're giving direction to here? Okay. How dare you? I come in immediately. You're telling me what to do. That's not how it works. Okay. I'm a boss. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conan.
Yeah, that's
fair.
fair.
Do I have to do this?
You do.
Okay.
You have to listen to him. He's really in charge. He puts it all together.
Okay. First of all, this is a surprise to me.
You've had a lot of surprises today.
Yeah.
You didn't know we were all the way in central Los Angeles?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No.
And you live quite far away.
You know, it's amazing as you start to, as you're taking the drive, how the resentment builds and builds and builds. Until finally, I'm coming north up Arlington. What am I doing here? Yeah.
You and I live very close to each other. My company, this building, is in central Hollywood. Huh? What's the problem? I just don't want to No, you can also use this and then he can do that. You see what I'm saying? You're always coloring inside the lines, and that's what always kept you back.
And by the way, I think it's important for your listeners and viewers to know that Conan has already made not one, but two anti-Semitic statements to me.
Yes.
Personally, yeah.
Keep that in.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Two.
I was going to try to get to 7 before the hour's up.
He's going to try to get to 7.
I had someone made a bet, and it was Jeff Ross, actually, who said, I bet you can't get 7 in. And Adam Sachs is okay with it, too. So 2 Jewish people of the Jewish faith have said, let's try and get to 7.
I'll keep a tally. 2.
Yeah, thank you very much.
2. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how we traditionally start.
Okay.
Everyone's done it. I don't see why you...
Hi, my name is Larry David, and I feel so about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
That's the energy you're giving.
Yeah.
Since the minute you walked in.
So, yeah.
You feel so.
So, yeah.
You have, so far, all you've done is bitch about how long you had to drive to get here.
Okay.
Which I thought was...
See, I think, again, you're accusing me of complaining. Okay.
I didn't say kvetch. I said bitch.
Yes, but still, you're treading into an area now.
I can't believe that you complaining is considered an anti-Semitic.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, again,
is that 3? Is that 3?
Yeah.
It's 2. It's 2.5.
It's 2.5.
Oh, 2.5. I think to be fair. Larry, I dread this day, the day that you would come in here.
Most people do before they see me. Yeah.
You're really, you're not a good guy. I think it's fair to say, right? I think it's,
No, I don't think so. I don't.
You disagree.
People refer to me as splendid. That I'm a splendid fellow. I don't know if I'm a good guy. I'm a splendid fellow.
You're a splendid fellow.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I remember very clearly the first time I met you. I was shooting something on the same lot where you guys shot Seinfeld. I've been doing the late night show for about 2 years. And I walked over because I saw something was being shot, an exterior was being shot. And then you were standing near a table and you were eating a sandwich, chomping away like a monster on a sandwich. And I got introduced to you, and with a full mouth, you said, I haven't seen your show. And you said, and I went, okay. And you said, so I don't know if you're any good or not.
Oh, God.
And you're with a full mouth. And I said, okay. And you went, I mean, I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you, honestly, chomp, 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 another bite. I haven't seen your show, so I can't say right now whether you are any good or you're not any good. And I said, okay. And I remembered thinking, I respect the honesty. You didn't sugarcoat it.
I have to say that does not sound like me. That's much nicer than I think.
Okay.
Probably.
All right.
But you know what? You were my first talk show.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you were not happy about coming on a talk show, but I remembered I got you through, is the way I look at it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And Conan, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget how kind you were to me.
Yes, in that time.
Yeah,
in your time of need,
yes,
really.
In my
when you
time
think about
of
it.
need, yeah, because it's a nerve-wracking thing. Your first talk show,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
and I was not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought when you go on those shows that you actually you just talk, but there's research done. People have no idea what goes into this. They see people on these talk shows and they think they're being spontaneous and they're just talking, but they're not. They're doing prepared material.
Yes.
A producer calls them beforehand.
In your case, it would have been Frank Smiley.
Frank Smiley.
Calling you and yelling at you, probably.
Yes, Frank Smiley called. And I was supposed to come up with some anecdotes, I guess, but nothing in my life, nothing ever happens to me. So
there's not been one anecdotal moment in your life.
Exactly. There's a terrible dearth of anecdotes. So, yeah.
To me, the secret is once people know you and like you and they know your rhythm, you don't need the anecdotes anymore. Once they knew you, through my kindness of putting you on a talk show, they got to know you. They didn't know you from Curb or from Seinfeld,
no.
2 shows that had never really been much viewed. But when they saw you on my show at 12:50 at night, I think it got you through. Those were...
For those of you...
Those were loud swallows.
That was a swallow. And I don't think that's a terrible thing to do after a swallow. Why do I have to curb that? Yeah.
Why should you apologize?
Why should I apologize? And if there are bodily functions, you do it.
You do.
You do it. I don't think that's rude.
Not at all. Hey there, welcome to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, joined as always by Sona movsesian. Hello, Sona.
Hi.
And of course, Matt Gourley.
Hi.
And it has been raining constantly here in Los Angeles. And when people say it's been raining constantly in Los Angeles, it means it has rained.
Yeah.
And it's been actually a couple of days of intense rain that's made the national news. But I have to say there's an upside to it, which is we get to dress like adults. And I'm talking specifically to you, Matt, and to myself, because I just, whenever the weather is kind of chilly or rainy, I love wearing clothing that's not a T-shirt and a jean jacket and some sneakers, and it looks like my mom just packed my bologna sandwich and I'm off to summer camp. So I don't know. And I walk in today and you are dressed like the Old Spice guy. You've got that really cool pea coat.
Oh yeah.
But it's nice to wear. It's nice to wear clothing, and there's something about Los Angeles that infantilizes people. You can see like the most successful person in LA walking down the street, someone with like $1 billion, and they're wearing a Who Farted t-shirt. And, they're wearing some stretchy pants so they can do a yoga squat whenever they need to, and some big balloon sneakers. And you're like, what? How old are you? I'm 77. It's just, are you picking up on any of this?
I think there was a year once where I wore flip-flops every day for a whole year, and when I was in school. And this is bullshit. This rain sucks.
No.
This rain
It's great.
Sucks.
Rain is great. People should be dressing like they're doing a spy dead drop in East Berlin in 1969.
Yeah. And this is where. So
Yeah.
today, I did some traveling recently, and I was in Ireland, and I brought with me this tweed suit that I've had for a while.
I'm not going to give you any grief for this.
No, I know. I always look. It's common knowledge that I attack you for my own flaws. Just because my self-hate comes out when I see you.
And I'm learning vice versa,
Yeah.
too.
No,
But
it's a nice moment.
But anyway, so I have this nice coat and these
It's really
matching
nice.
pants, and I wear them today, and I swear to God, I feel like I'm a teacher at Eton,
Yeah.
like some kind of British school, and it's the late 50s, and they're just kind of, the post-World War II rationing is still going, but I've got a stiff upper lip, and I'm courting the landlady. I'm a bachelor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm walking around, and I've got my boots on, and I don't know. It's so ridiculous.
Working.
It's so ridiculous. And then everyone else is waiting for please, 72 degrees and sunny.
Yeah.
72 degrees and sunny. And this is what I like.
Me
I like
too.
this.
Move. Just go somewhere
Excuse me?
else. Both of you buy an apartment like in, I don't know, Seattle,
I
where
think
it
about
rains
it.
all the time.
I
Just
think
go.
about it.
Me too.
But you know what the
No.
problem is? Seattle, all they do is wear fleece. It's all fleece. It's all North Face. People,
I can't
if you go to
You
the
want fancy
if you go to the
winter.
opera, my wife is from Seattle. I've spent a lot of time in Seattle, and I love Seattle. But if you went to the fanciest ball in Seattle, if such a thing existed, everyone there would be wearing big floppy fleece. When I met my wife, Liza, all she owned was fleece, jeans and fleece.
I can't do modern athleisure. It has to be
Oh my God.
wool, knit. You know what I mean? It
You
has-
two sound so like upper crust.
No,
I
no, no.
need my
This is
tweed
the
suit.
and you know what?
opposite of
I
that.
need my
Can I say
wool.
one thing? Can I say one thing, Sona? You're making us into stereotypes and caricatures, and that's not what we are.
Oh.
But let me talk. But wait a minute. Let me talk about this.
You're doing it.
I found this monocle store where you can
I'm
get
listening.
you can get a horn-rimmed monocle, just like the one Clank had on Hogan's Heroes.
Oh my God.
And it's so great. Like I don't even need a monocle. Both my eyes, it's the same prescription. But what I do is I buy 2 monocles and I hold them in.
Oh, yeah.
And they act like glasses, but they're even more effete.
This is highly erotic. Do you agree?
Highly disagree. This
Okay.
is the least erotic thing I've ever heard. So you want cold weather, but you want a cold weather where everyone's dressing kind of posh. Like
Not
you
posh.
Not posh. Not
No,
posh. We're
almost
talking
like Irish pub.
Yeah,
you
Irish
know?
pub. Exactly. This is not posh we're talking about. We're talking about Irish pub. I wish I smoked a pipe. And I wish that when I smoked a pipe, and this is a line from The Simpsons, not a line I wrote, but a line that I really loved at the time when I was working there. Flanders talked about how sometimes he liked to smoke his pipe. And he said, yep, sometimes I like to fire up the old briar. And I remember thinking, God damn it. I wish I smoked so I could get a big, crazy pipe. Because I do bits. I could do
Yes.
bits with a pencil. Think what I could do with a pipe.
Oh my God.
I would get a big pipe, and I would get the tobacco pouch, and I would get my little tool that packs it in, and I'd say, well, time to fire up the old briar. And I would puff on that pipe, and then I'd walk around in my tweed coat and be just a dick.
Hey, Conan.
Yeah.
I bought a new umbrella yesterday.
No, you
Oh,
didn't.
Yeah,
oh,
plaid.
God.
Which is it
Oh,
plaid?
of course
Plaid.
it's
Fantastic.
And
plaid.
it's extra long so you can use it as a walking stick.
Yes!
Oh, yeah, get
Oh,
your
does it have a
walking
little
stick.
wolf's head
No, I
on the
wish. What
handle?
am I in heaven? Come on.
Well, if you don't have a wolf's head on the handle, then you're in hell, sir. Hell, I say. All right, we got to get into it.
Please
Hey,
make this end.
I am thrilled about today. My guest is, good Lord, absolutely brilliant, hilarious writer, actor, and comedian behind such shows as Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. The 12th and final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm is now airing on HBO and streaming on Max. Thrilled isn't the word. Honored, just blown away, just can't say enough about this gentleman. So delighted he's here today. Larry David. Let's get started. We're losing all this good stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on.
We'll start with you reading that, and you can fill in the
Me?
blank however
Yeah.
you like. Yes.
Oh,
right here,
First
you
of all, what do you think you're giving direction to here? Okay. How dare you? I come in immediately. You're telling me what to do. That's not how it works. Okay. I'm a boss. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conan.
Yeah, that's
do
fair.
I have to do this?
You do.
Okay.
You have to listen to him. He's really in charge. He puts it all together.
Okay. First of all, this is a surprise to me.
You've had a lot of surprises today.
Yeah.
You didn't know we were
Yeah.
all the way in central Los Angeles?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
No.
And you live quite far away.
You know, it's amazing as you start to, as you're taking the drive, how the resentment builds and builds and builds until finally, I'm coming north up Arlington. What am I doing here? Yeah.
You and I live very close to each other. My company, this building, is in central Hollywood. Huh? What's the problem? No, you can also use this and then he can do that. You see what I'm saying? You're always coloring inside the lines, and that's what always kept you back.
And by the way, I think it's important for your listeners and viewers to know that Conan has already made not one, but 2 anti-Semitic statements to me.
Yes.
Personally, yeah.
Keep that in.
Yeah, okay, yeah. 2.
I was going to try to get to 7 before the hour's
He's
up.
going to try to get to 7.
I had someone made a bet, and it was Jeff Ross actually who said, "I bet you can't get 7 in." And Adam Sachs is okay with it too. So 2 Jewish people of the Jewish faith have said, "Let's try and get to 7."
I'll keep a tally.
Yeah, thank you very much.
2. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how we traditionally saw.
Okay.
Everyone's done it. I don't
All
see
right,
why you.
Hi, my name is Larry David, and I feel so about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
That's the energy you're giving.
Yeah.
Since the minute you walked in,
So, yeah.
you feel so.
So, yeah.
You have so far all you've done is bitch about how long you had to drive to get here.
Okay.
Which I thought was.
See, I think, again,
Uh-huh.
you're accusing me of complaining, okay?
I didn't say kvetch. I said bitch.
Yes, but still, you're treading into an area now.
I can't believe that you complaining is considered an anti-Semitic.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well,
So
again,
is that 3? Is that 3?
Yeah,
it's 2.5. It's 2.5.
It's 2.5. Yeah.
2.5. I think to be fair.
You wrote it down.
Larry, I dread this day, the day that you would come in here.
Most people do before they see me. Yeah.
You're really, you're not a good guy. I think it's fair to say, right? I think it's,
No, I don't think so. I don't.
You disagree.
People refer to me as splendid. That I'm a splendid. I don't know if I'm a good guy. I'm a splendid.
You're
fellow.
a splendid fellow.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Thank you.
I remember very clearly the first time I met you. I was shooting something on the same lot where you guys shot Seinfeld. I've been doing the late night show for about 2 years. And I walked over because I saw something was being shot, an exterior was being shot. And then you were standing near a table and you were eating a sandwich, chomping away like a monster on a sandwich. And I got introduced to you, and with a full mouth, you said, I haven't seen your show. And you said, and I went, okay. And you said, so I don't know if you're any good or not.
Oh, God.
And you're with a full mouth. And I said, okay. And you went, I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you, honestly, chomp, 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 another bite. I haven't seen your show, so I can't say right now whether you are any good or you're not any good. And I said, okay. And I remembered thinking, I respect the honesty. You didn't sugarcoat it.
I have to say that does not sound like me. That's much nicer than I think.
Okay.
Probably.
All right.
But you know what? You were my first talk show.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you were not happy about coming on a talk show, but I remembered I got you through, is the way I look at it.
Yes, you did. And Conan,
Uh-oh.
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget how kind you were to me.
Yes, in that time.
Yeah,
in your time of need,
yes,
really.
in my
When you think
time of
about it.
need, yeah, because it's a nerve-wracking thing. Your first talk show,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
and I was not prepared
Mm-hmm.
because I thought when you go on those shows that you actually you just talk, but there's research done. People have no idea what goes into this. They see people on these talk shows and they think they're being spontaneous and they're just talking, but they're not. They're doing prepared material.
Yes.
But a producer calls them beforehand.
In your case, it would have been Frank Smiley
Frank Smiley.
calling you and yelling at you, probably.
Yes, Frank Smiley called. And I was supposed to come up with some anecdotes, I guess, but nothing in my life, nothing ever happens to me. So
there's not been one anecdotal moment in your life.
Exactly. There's a terrible dearth of anecdotes. So, yeah.
To me, the secret is once people know you and like you and they know your rhythm, you don't need the anecdotes anymore. Once they knew you, through my kindness of putting you on a talk show, they got to know you. They didn't know you from Curb or from Seinfeld, two shows that had never really been much viewed. But when they saw you on my show at 12:50 at night, I think it got you through. Those were...
For those of you...
Those were loud swallows.
That was a swallow. And I don't think that's a terrible thing to do after a swallow. Why do I have to curb that? Yeah.
Why should you apologize?
Why should I apologize? And if there are bodily functions, you do it.
You do.
You do it. I don't think that's rude.
Not at all.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time. They say to me, Conan, you know everyone in the business, and I say thank you. And then they say, Larry David, is he exactly like he is on Curb Your Enthusiasm? And I say, yes, he is. You are exactly like that guy. You would claim that you're not quite that guy. But the times I've hung out with you at parties, I feel there might as well be a camera recording this for HBO.
Oh.
You are the same guy.
I take that as a tremendous compliment.
Yes,
you
should.
Because I got to tell you something. I love that guy. That guy. Oh my God. I am so in love with that guy. Yeah. Really. He's my hero.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah.
It must be nice though, because you've carved that out for yourself. And then if people encounter you in real life, you don't have to in any way contort yourself to please them.
Yes.
You can tell them, I don't feel like taking a selfie. It's not really what I want to do right now. And they must love it.
And they laugh.
Yeah.
And they laugh. Except a couple of weeks ago, I got invited to a dinner party. And, 10 years ago, I would have gone, okay, sounds good. What's the address? And now, this time I said, who's coming?
Oh.
Yeah. Did not go over well.
The person was offended?
The person seemed to have been a little offended. And I wound up not going. Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. So I tried to be Larry, and it didn't work. But by the way, as long as we're on the subject, is it such a terrible question to ask who's going to? Why is it such a secret? Why is that a secret? I don't understand the big secret. You can't say who's going. Why? I don't get it.
Yes. I think you're within,
Right?
I think you were within your rights to ask who's coming.
Thank you.
Because you want to find out. Also, I'm imagining you have enemies. And you want to make sure you're not walking into a party.
I just made 4 more as I walked into the building. Yeah.
But you want to make sure. You want to know.
Yeah, I want to know.
It's like a mobster who's going to a restaurant wants to know how many ways are there in. If I'm attacked, is there a way out?
Yeah,
you got to know.
Exactly, because a lot of times, honestly, you'll be invited to these dinner parties and you find yourself sitting next to some insurance salesman, and you're there the whole for 2.5 hours sitting next to him or her, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable.
Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be honest.
Yeah.
You came to my house not long ago. You didn't know who was going to be there. Were you pleased? Were you not pleased? And you can tell me.
Well,
were there enough celebrities to make you comfortable? Did you feel that it was a good environment, a good ecosystem for you?
I need like 3 comedians and I'm fine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I count as a comedian?
Oh, Conan.
Conan. Poor, Conan, you poor.
It's just sad.
It's just sad. Don't do this to him.
Come on.
Yes, Conan.
Thank you.
You can. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure. You seemed happy. You seemed pleased.
But then at one point, comedians, comedy writers, either one. Whatever.
Yes. Yeah. But at one point, I noticed that you had retreated to a separate area and you were just observing. You were eating your food and you were just observing other people.
Well,
as if you were, looking at birds. And you were doing little sketches. And I wondered if that's normal behavior for you.
I'll tell you what. I don't like sitting with a plate on my lap.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I saw there was a counter. There were stools in front of the counter. And I thought this would be a good spot to plant myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I planted. And it turned out to be a great spot because when people come over, this is what I do at parties, by the way. I always sit. You can't be in the middle of a room making small talk. And then you're going, your brain is racing, Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm out. I can't.
I got nothing. I got
nothing. What? The bathroom? Do I have to go to the bathroom? Do I have to get a drink? Or I know, I'll do TV Larry. All right, well, it's been nice talking to you. Yeah. And then you move on.
Right.
I think people know now that you can't have interminable conversations. They can't go on forever. There's got to be an out. You know what?
You're on a podcast right now.
How long is this going to go? We may be done.
And this is our special 5-hour salute.
No, but it's not.
It's a special 5-hour salute to Larry David.
But I think I have an idea for parties. You have a party sheriff, okay?
Yep.
And he sits. He's in a chair above the party. He's overseeing the party.
Yep, like a lifeguard.
Or he's in another room on video.
Yeah.
And he's got cameras on everybody.
Like a pit boss.
Like a pit boss. And he's seeing the conversations. He's looking at him. He's seeing how it's going. He's looking at the body language. He's timing conversations. And then he sees that somebody's in trouble. And he goes, okay, all right, I got to go. He goes down. He takes the person by the arm. He goes, excuse me, this is over.
This is brilliant.
I have to have this. Huh? I have to have this.
I mean, this is a great idea.
It's brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
I love that idea. I think we've all been there.
He doesn't even pretend to take, hey, I need to talk to you about something.
No. Everybody's aware.
Also, does he flash a badge?
Yeah.
Does he put up a badge and say, this is over? Yeah. This is over.
Everybody's aware there's a sheriff. There's there's somebody overseeing the party. By the way, I think I'd be a good one.
You'd be great.
I'd like to volunteer. I could do that job.
We need a podcast sheriff.
Yeah.
You could do that.
I definitely could do that job. A party sheriff, for sure.
All right. I think I want you to do it for me. I'm going to set up cameras.
Okay.
Because I am a good host. I mingle. You probably saw I mingle a lot. I get to everyone.
I didn't get I got like 13 seconds.
Because I knew I knew that you were fine.
That I was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't worry about you. And then there are other people I worry about.
Of course.
So I probably short shrifted you. You didn't get the full Conan, which is, I'm told, magnificent.
I felt a little on the shrifty side. Yeah. There was some shriftness present, yes.
Working downstairs, you and I have talked about this, but Mike Sweeney is working downstairs. And
Mike Sweeney, I love Mike
worked
Sweeney.
in the comedy clubs with you, and Mike Sweeney has been with me for almost 30 years, I think. Not working, he just hangs around. But he's a terrific, incredible writer. He's been with me forever. But he loves to talk about you in the clubs.
Oh, God.
And what you were like as a stand-up.
I was very young. I was a young man.
One of my favorite stories that he tells, and I don't want to mistell it, is that you apparently had a joke that you would do at the top of your set, and you would tell the other comics, if the crowd goes for this, I know that it's my crowd and I'll continue.
Yeah.
And then if they don't go for this, I'll know that it's not going to go well. And the joke was...
Oh, it was the two form?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that. That was I did that on the Curb special.
Yep.
Yeah. No, basically I'd go up. I'd say...
Go out to a packed crowd, nightclub, comedy club.
I can't even do it. You're making me laugh.
Okay, sorry. A lot of pressure. I like this more than I like the joke. But...
you seem like a, by the way, hey, you seem like a very good audience tonight. I'm wondering, may I use the two form with you people? Because I feel very kind of close to you. I feel like I know you. Do you mind if I jump into the two form? And if I got laughs, I would continue.
Yeah.
I'd go, Caesar used the two form with Brutus even after Brutus stabbed him. He said to Brute, I think at that point, if somebody's trying to kill you, you don't have to be that familiar with them.
Right.
Yeah. So I would throw that out there.
Right. And Sweeney said that the other comedians would all come out and they would watch because they were so fascinated to see what would happen. And their favorite thing was if the crowd didn't go for it, you became enraged. And you start berating them.
Oh, I guess you people didn't take Spanish or French in high school. There's a familiar two form in Spanish. It's usted if it's kind of formal. But if you're friends with a person, then you use the two form.
Imagine you're being yelled at because you. You and I have talked a little bit about, because I worked at Saturday Night Live. You had worked there earlier, and because your career fascinates me, it's a lot of. You're clearly this incredibly gifted, funny person, and it was trying to find. And you were very principled about doing things your way. I know at SNL, it wasn't a good fit for you because you had your sense of humor, the stuff that you thought was funny, and you had a hard time getting stuff on the air.
Yeah, I didn't get one. Oh, I got one sketch on at that wonderful 12:50 slot.
My favorite. That's the sweet spot. Right. 12:50. Yeah, that's where I used to hang out. I loved that.
Yes, I had one sketch on the whole year.
At one point, you just became angry and quit.
Yes,
and then famously showed up a couple of days later.
I pretended the whole thing never happened.
Which became a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was computing how much money I had. I cost myself enough money to live on for 2 years for me. And I go, oh boy, what an idiot! That was so stupid. Because I had like a hissy fit. I went up to Dick Ebersol and I said, "This show stinks." This is right before air. This is like week number 6, and I had been cut every week. And I went up to him, and he had the headphones on, the headset on, and I went, "This show stinks. It's a piece of shit. I'm done. I'm done here."
And then you just came back.
I just came
back. Now, maybe because he had the headset on, he couldn't hear you.
Maybe, yeah. I came back. and I pretended it never happened. Yeah. And it worked.
I think you did that a few times, Sona.
I'm sure I did.
I think there was a couple, because Sona is my assistant, and there were several times where I think you told me to fuck off.
I've stormed off a lot.
Stormed off,
came
and
back
then
meekly.
I'd come in the next day and you'd be eating Zanku chicken at your desk and watching The Bachelor.
Yeah, and you completely just didn't even mention my outburst.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'm surprised it didn't really catch on throughout the country. You know, that after I told the story.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a way I could tell off my boss and then come back and keep my job.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think, because of the shows you've worked on or created, Seinfeld and then Curb, those are shows where everybody thinks they have a good episode. Anybody can come up to you and say, you know, when you're at the gas station and you go to clean, but there's no towel there to wipe off the squeegee. Yeah. And I think that's a thing that happens to everybody. And shouldn't that happen to Larry? Yeah. And you have to, what do you do? Because you must get that constantly.
I go, let me stop you right there.
I'd like you to meet the pit sheriff.
Yes.
There should be a pit sheriff, too.
Yeah. I go, let me stop you right there. You know, I'm not the Writers Guild forbids me to hear ideas from other people. So I'm sorry. You know, I'm sure it's a great idea, but I can't hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
And does that work? That doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it works.
Okay.
It's pretty good. What doesn't work, the pictures, because, you know, you're in the street. Hey, there's a fan wanting to take a picture. And so I thought, I tried something new. And I said, you know what? I can't take pictures outside.
Wait, what?
What's like a vampire?
Yeah.
I said, you know, there's people, I can't take pictures outside. And then when I was inside, I would say to people, you know what? I can't take pictures inside.
And how's that working for you?
It started out okay, and then I sort of couldn't get through without laughing. So, because I realized how stupid it was. But you know, people actually bought it. I go, you know, I can't take pictures inside.
Did you? There's something about your past that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that do make sense, but I didn't know that you were in the U.S. Army Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
And I cannot imagine you in any situation where people are telling you this is how you must behave and this is what's required.
Yeah.
It
really tough.
I just can't imagine
really tough.
Falling into line. You did that for a couple of years, right?
I was in the, I was in the reserves to avoid going to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of old, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. I know. We'll bring that up second. That's my next question. You seem very old to me. That's my next question. Which isn't even a question.
Yeah.
I'm realizing none of these are questions. These are just statements.
Yeah. So I was in the reserves to avoid Vietnam, and I was in it. I went to basic training. I had occupational specialty school. I was a petroleum storage specialist, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I had to go to meetings once a month for the next 6 years. And to go to the meetings were near my parents' apartment in Brooklyn. And I was living in Manhattan. So once a month I would go home. And I had a big... I think the word was at the time, Jufro.
Now you have, that's
Wait,
now.
do I tally this?
No. He has one anti-Semitic comment to my 2.5.
The score is 1 to 2.5.
Yeah.
This is anybody's game. Wow. I'm excited.
I can't believe we're competing. I got this now. I want this.
So anyway, I would stay with my parents for the weekend, and I had a wig, and I would wear the wig, and I was doing this once a month. And then in the summer, there was a summer camp that you had to go away for 2 weeks. So all these guys were in my unit, And then I heard about a psychiatrist who was writing letters for like $250. And so I went to see him and I talked to him for, 45 minutes, and he wrote me up this letter. And the letter basically said that I was crazy. And I took the letter, and I'm in for 2 years now. So I know all these people. Imagine coming to work and acting insane.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I had the letter. Where's the major? Where's the major? I need to talk to the major. Yeah. So did
it work?
I saw friends. These are friends of mine. I socialize with these people. I see them all huddled together, pointing and looking. What's pointing at me? What's he doing? What's with David? Look at him. Look at him. And then I went to see the major, and the major was reading the letter, and he's talking to me. Mm-hmm. I'm answering his questions. And after 5 minutes, he says to me, "Can you drive home?"
Oh my God. Wow.
What?
And I swear I said this line way before Dustin Hoffman said it in that movie. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm a good driver." And that was it. And I got out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Do you still have that letter? You must.
I don't think I do.
Okay. We'll find it.
Yeah. But I have to say, tremendous performance on my part.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
I can tell.
Yeah.
And here it was spectacular.
Yeah. It's really
good
good.
lighting and everything.
Yeah.
It's because you were also, the job I can imagine you having, which you did, was you were a limo driver for a while. And I don't know if you ever did this, but this has happened to me many times where I go to the airport and I get picked up and my wife and I are in the back and we're chatting. And then out of nowhere, the driver says, "Well, I have a cream for that." So they've clearly been listening. It's like your phone when it knows you've been talking about, maybe I should go buy a new camping tent. And then your phone suddenly suggests, REI is just a block and a half away. And it's this eerie feeling.
Right.
Were you a listener? Would you listen in and interject?
Their conversations really weren't interesting enough.
Yeah.
She was an old woman. She was practically blind. She could see a little bit.
Right.
And I took complete advantage of her because she couldn't see. She didn't know if the car was filthy or not, and it was filthy. So I would hear from the back seat, "Is the car clean?" I go, yeah, spotless. Car's spotless.
Yeah, always means not true. That's a giveaway.
And she'd say to me, "You got your hat on?" Yeah. Because I had a chauffeur's cap.
Sure.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I got that. I got the cap on. Yeah, I got the cap on. And then one of her friends squealed on me.
Who would do that?
She saw the car, the condition of the car.
It was a Datsun.
She saw how filthy the car was, and she squealed on me, and that was it. I got fired. Yeah.
I didn't know that you studied history, because I studied history. I love history. And I remember I talked to people later on who wanted to get into comedy, and they would say, "Well, I'm studying comedy," or I'm studying communications. And I would think, no, you don't need to know stuff. I mean, I love history and I've used it. I don't know how it's come into it, but it's felt like it's helped me a million times.
Were you a history major?
Yeah. And it's been like a lifelong passion of mine, but I read history and then I feel like that fills up my comedy well somehow. I don't know how. I can't explain it.
I completely agree with you. I'm really happy that I majored in history and not communications or any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. People, like, if they want to be an actor or a comedian, they take it so seriously. Like there's no class. There's nothing to learn. Either you can do it or you can't, I think, right?
That's mostly how I come down on it.
Yeah.
I think you can improve and you can hone your skills. But I swear to God, 90% of
skills because you're doing it, you're practicing.
Right. 90% of what I do I was doing around my kitchen table in a big family in Boston or with my friends. And then it's just been heightened and indulged by enablers all around me. But it does feel to me like that's most of it.
Yeah, I guess I would never want to be in a comedy class to hear those forced laughs. I'd rather just go up on a stage and do it, because all those people they're just going to be forcing their laughs, like everybody just doing. And I got to say, I don't even mind it. I can hardly tell the difference.
They're very good.
In fact, I'm reversing my whole opinion on this. Yeah,
they're very good.
Yeah, no, they're
very
great.
good.
Really, you guys are the best fake laughers I've ever been around.
I don't know how you avoid that, because there's a lot of at sitcom table reads and sketch comedy table reads.
Yeah.
I think I was lucky because on all the years I was doing late night, we were pretty brutally honest about things. And people were very happy to tell me they thought that something I had thought of wasn't a good idea. They really enjoyed that. And then every now and then I would visit someone who was working on a sitcom, and I would see they're reading the script for like the 5th time. You've seen this phenomenon.
Yeah.
I doubt it happened at Seinfeld, because whatever you were doing there was right. But there's this phenomenon where you're being a good person and a good sport, and you're helping grease the wheels for the whole project. Like you're being a good member of the Communist Party if you laugh.
Right.
And so it's the 5th time a script is being read, and people are like, and I found it really upsetting, for lack of a better word.
Honestly, I don't think we ever did. I'm a modest fellow. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a.
It says it on your jacket.
I'm not a braggart.
No. There's no braggadocio.
No, I don't go on about myself.
Not at all.
But I don't think we ever did like a second read through. We did the one read through, and if it didn't work, we would fix it, and we wouldn't have another one. We'd just do the show. So I really don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
There you go. Well, do you know what I'm talking about outside of the projects you've worked on? Have you seen this?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're not helping the project by laughing,
right?
But what do you do in situations? I'm sure this has happened to you tons of times, where you'll be given, a friend will give you a script.
Yeah.
And then what? Of course, you have to read it. And then if it's not any good.
Well, what do? You say I can't read a script indoors. Well, we'll step outside. Hey, today isn't a good day to step outside.
Well, it's difficult sometimes to come up with exactly the right wording for it. That's why texting is good, because you can do a few drafts until you get it right, I think. Rather than running into him on the street. Hey, did you read it? Yeah. Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can usually find constructive criticism that I can make about something, but I wouldn't be able to say like, well, this just isn't funny.
No, you can't say that.
I can't say that, because that's not, how does that help the person in any way?
But also sometimes you're given something to see or read after it's already locked, and there's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. So you have to go, oh yeah, this is great. What are you going to do?
Right.
So you got to lie.
Right. I've been in a few screenings with you. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
And now I'm...
Yeah.
You and I have been together when things were screened before, and it's been interesting to watch you. You always have...
Yeah, I think I know what you're
very
referring
good.
to.
You're very good. Very, very, very good.
Maybe we could, without mentioning...
Well, I think we can. I love this story, but you go and see a lot of things. I go and see a lot of things. There have been a couple of times where I've seen something screened and you've been in the room, and we saw one thing, and it was long. It was very long.
It was a studio movie.
Yeah, studio movie. It was very long, and so we see this final cut of this big budget studio movie when we're both there, and there was someone there taking questions, and who work for the studio, and they wanted feedback. And I'm eager. I'm always think I don't want to look like a dick. I don't want them to see who I really am. So I will, what am I going to do? And man, this is getting late and I really want to get out of here. And you did this thing where the thing ends, lights come up, and you immediately shot your hand up and you said...
No, wait, but there were a couple of questions before I did that.
Yes, one or two questions. Yeah. You shot your hand up and you said, I have one question and then I've got to go. And as you asked a quick question, and as you were asking it, you were putting your down jacket on. You put your down, and so you said, I've got one question, and then I have to go. And I'm looking at you.
And I looked at him. We made eye contact.
And
I saw the admiration and envy.
Okay. So anyway, he's the studio person's answering the question as you leave. And you go, I think you're right. That's a good point. And you're like, bye. And you left. I was there for another 45 minutes while people were saying, when the aliens come to the other planet, it wasn't quite clear. And so you might want to in post. And so I was, I leave. And the next morning I wake up and my phone is right by my bed. And I turned it on and there's a text from Larry and it says, quote, I have one question and then I have to go, quote. And then it says, how fucking genius was that? Exclamation point, question mark. And then it says, you must have been so jealous. So the next morning, you knew. You went to bed that night with your covers tucked under your chin, thinking, I made O'Brien, I left him in the dirt.
I have to say,
it was such a proud moment for you.
Yeah, I was so thrilled with it because it was so brilliant. Yeah, it was just such a great move. Boy, sometimes it's like writing. Sometimes you're in a corner, right?
Yes,
and you have to write yourself out of this.
Yes, yeah,
and that's what happened.
Yeah, and I think it made it feel all the sweeter that I had to stay late. I think that you have to admit that was the cherry on the sundae.
That was the cherry on the sundae. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. It wouldn't have been nearly as satisfying if you weren't there.
You are wrapping up Curb. This is the last season.
Oh yeah.
Is this news to you?
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
You regretting it? You can come back and you can just pretend you never told them. This is the last. Yeah. You should do you should do a whole last season salute. Yeah. Get all the love. Get all that love gravy. Yeah. All of that. This was a benchmark show. What a landmark. It changed everything. And then come back and do another 3 more seasons.
You're really great on the callbacks, by the way. I think this is your second or third.
It's my 9th.
Yeah, it's your 9th. Yeah. It's great.
Oh, okay. We'll tally that.
Yeah, last.
One of the things that I think, because my son really got into Curb and we started watching them again. And I thought, intentional, not intentional, but your style of comedy, it so fits younger people today because there aren't laughs on it. It's a lot of reaction. Things are played very real. And I think it's one of the reasons why it endures so well. As I could talk to probably like a 15-year-old who would say, I love that show, which I think when they look at even some, great shows that I absolutely love, they maybe have a laugh track on them. And were shot single camera, or multicam. Their interest in them has diminished a little bit because this is the style they like now. Do you think there's anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the multicam started. It's such an old format.
Yeah.
It started in like the early 50s, right?
Yeah.
So
I Love Lucy.
Yeah,
Desilu.
Went all the way to the 2000. I guess there's still shows like that, but this show's improvised, And I think that lends a sense of reality and spontaneity to it.
Yeah.
That the young people enjoy.
Well, I think there's also, I can remember when I was growing up, I accepted it, but I'm watching Happy Days and a character enters. There's massive applause and the Fonz has to wait.
Yeah.
And we just accepted that.
Well, Kramer used to get applause when he would enter.
That's right. That's right.
And so everybody would wait and then he would start talking. And then finally, I think we had to tell the audience not to applaud when he came in.
Right.
And we put a stop to it.
But no one else would put a stop to that. What I'm saying is that was so encouraged that it got to a point in the 70s and 80s on sitcoms where characters would come in with important information, like the tests are back and it's fatal. And the character would come rushing in, and people go like, "Whoa! Look, it's Dr. Cuckoo!" And occasionally, and you'd see those characters would have to kind of nod and look out, and then, by the way, the tests are back. It's cancer of the spleen. You will not survive. And you're like, this is madness. But we just there's the things that I think I knew on some level this isn't good, even when I was a kid. But
also, there are scenes that are outside, and there's an audience laughing.
Yeah.
Where's the audience?
Where are they?
What are they on the corner? It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like there's the other thing is that there's such a emphasis on jokes, and I knew that because really the only show like that I had worked on was The Simpsons. We worked so hard on jokes having to be just going over and over and over to get the best jokes. And then you find that, and I love that format and I love working on that show and think it's brilliant. But on your show, what I loved, it's that old Jack Benny thing. The biggest laugh can be on a reaction. I mean, so many of your laughs are reaction shots, which to me is something that we maybe lost along the way. Do you know what I mean? It's like Buster Keaton. It's the classics. The stuff I always loved was the comedy where you were playing it real. And so much of Curb has been your utter disappointment and dejection or embarrassment or indignation. And those are my favorite moments, which aren't, the writing has set it up, but you wouldn't get it if you didn't see it.
I mean, the other thing, it's nice of you to say. I think it's the first compliment you've ever given to me in our relationship. So it means so much to me. So much to me.
Is it the first?
And thank you.
I think it is the first.
From the bottom of my whatever this is. I'm told
I have you're like the Grinch now.
I know.
You're listening to Whoville.
But
the Larry David.
The thing about the 3-camera show, yes, the jokes, tons of jokes. They're coming at you one after another. There are people in rooms, there are writers in these rooms till 3:00 in the morning, punching up scripts, joke after joke after joke, and they tell the joke, and the character says the joke, and nobody ever laughs. Nobody ever laughs in these shows, which is odd, because if these things are so funny, how come nobody ever laughs?
Right.
Well, they don't laugh because laughing is the hardest thing to act, I think. And be real.
That and drunk. I've always been told, being drunk is.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Sorry, I didn't. I just wanted to tell you that you weren't quite right. Is it a big surprise who's on the final season? Is it a surprise?
Oh, wait a second. Have I been sitting here this whole time? Have we not acknowledged that this man right here,
Conan.
Thanks, thank you. This guy is in the show. Really? He's here. Yes, he's a guest star.
I might be one of the reasons it's the final season.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel, huh?
and he gave me a compliment before, and I know you think, oh well, he gave me a compliment. Now I'm going to return the compliment. He was so. Yeah. No, it was great. It was great. We had a great time. He was you were very good, and thank you for doing it.
Well, I'm sure I was compensated.
It's the only reason I'm here today, actually. Yeah, it's a tit for tat, and I had to do the tat. He did the tit, and
I did the tit.
I had to do the tat.
Yeah, I always do the tit.
Yeah.
You always do the tat.
Yeah, and I don't like being a tat, by the way.
You shouldn't.
It's not uncomfortable being a tat. I'd much rather be the tit. Yeah.
Such a stupid. I'm sorry. Let's take that out of context. I am enraged because we talked to fans on this show, and I did talk to a fan.
Oh, yeah.
And this really stuck in my craw, and I think I've mentioned this to you, but I need to bring it up here in this forum. A young woman who's a big fan of mine, and she was talking about, she's unlucky in love. She's looking for the right kind of guy, and she wants someone who's funny. She wants this, she wants that. And I said, what kind of person do you look for? And she said, well, you'd be really good, but you're too old. And I went, okay, that's, this woman's in her 30s and I'm 60. And I said, I completely understand that. And she said, but Larry David, I like Larry David. And I became a wild beast. I started
You did.
shouting
Rightfully
at her.
so.
What are you talking about? I said, Larry David could have technically driven me home from the hospital as a baby. I think he's 15 to 16 years older than me. And I couldn't shake it. She was like, no, you're too old. But the ladies like their Larry David. I hear that all the time.
It's the joie de vivre.
All right. I won't even try to explain it, but it has been an honor to have you here. I say that knowing that you'll make a face, but just an absolute thrill to talk to you. And it was a big deal for me to get to be in that episode. So, because like everyone, I adore your work. So there you go. Ended on a nice note. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I had a wonderful time.
I want you to do my eulogy.
Like a first date.
A peck on the cheek. I might get a peck on the cheek.
I had a wonderful time, and honestly, I hope we can do it again.
Ask him upstairs.
We will never see this man again. That's one of the all-time. You'll never see him again. Yeah. Thank you.
This was great. Thank you.
Conan here, and I'm just going to say this is a special segment.
Yes.
It is, because we are joined by my wife, Liza Powell O'Brien. And everyone far prefers Liza to me.
Yep.
That is pretty much true,
Oh,
right?
so true.
Everyone
so true.
says to me when they meet Liza, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the emphasis is on that she is the one who is fantastic.
Yes.
And I'm tired of it. So we're going to...
What are you going to do?
Oh, I'm going to cut this one down to size.
You brought her on the podcast to do this.
Yeah. How are you, betrothed?
I feel like if I was around everyone as much as you're around them, the balance would shift back.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
Absolutely
okay.
not. No,
All right,
I don't
then.
think.
You
I don't
can
think.
I
talk
can
to
say
our
that with
kids.
confidence. I don't know you, but I know him.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well,
You know Liza a bit,
but I
don't you?
chose him. So
Yeah.
what does that tell you?
That's true.
That's true. Of all the
That's
men in the
true.
world, you chose this one.
They were all at my disposal.
They were all at your disposal.
Every one of them.
Matt
picked one.
Damon, they were all lined up. Matt
Damon.
I don't know. It's just, and I'm thinking of him, of course, from Team America. I'm Matt Damon. Anyway, let's pull this thing together, because Liza likes to spend as little time with me as possible, and so the fact that she's here means there's a reason. And I am very proud of the fact there are many things you do that I'm very proud of, but your tolerance for me is a great source of pride. But you have made this podcast that I think is stunningly good. I love it. And I'm not just saying that. Many people really like this podcast. It's called Significant Others. And we thought this was a good time to talk about it because it's Valentine's Day. You You're so in love with me.
I do appreciate being recognized for that.
It's your greatest achievement is your love for me. It confuses everyone. No, and your podcast, though I wouldn't describe it as a romantic podcast, but it is about couples dynamics, significant others, how they, sometimes it's a husband and wife. These are famous couples. Sometimes it could be a father, daughter. There's a power dynamic and how that all works, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively, often positively and negatively. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, it is. I think you're right that romance is not at all part of, I mean, sometimes there are romantic stories, but mostly they're stories of sort of complicated partnerships.
Yep.
Which spoke to me. I don't know why.
Well, it's so funny because I often contrast your podcast with mine. Ours is seat of the pants, absolute nonsense. Liza works. I'm always seeing her pretty much in her study, in her small study, that is often also occupied by several cats that hate me, by the way. But you were always in there reading like 60 books, studying, crafting these episodes. You get very cool people to do the voices. You also use a bunch of the people here at Team Coco.
I do.
And you really make these things beautifully. And then I'm also a little put off that you have a fantastic podcast voice that is far superior to mine.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm the one who's doing the podcast first, because your voice is so terrific.
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
You know, you've influenced me because season 1, I love. Season 2's premiering. I haven't heard a bunch of these yet, and I know that you've been working on them. But for example, Jenny and Karl Marx, Karl Marx's wife, and what their relationship was like. And because you were doing all this research, when you were done with one of the books, I read it. I had never read a book about Karl Marx and his relationship with his wife, Jenny. But that's a husband and wife team where you can really see how, as a couple, they worked with each other. Then there are other teams like Billy Strayhorn and Duke Ellington. Tell us about that.
Billy Strayhorn, Duke Ellington was, I think, has been referred to as the first great American composer. He was just unbelievably talented, and forget the fact that he was, violently discriminated against his entire life. But even outside of that, his accomplishments are spectacular. So he kind of had this empire almost of music, and he had all of these different versions of his band, and he was touring all the time and kind of stretching himself really thin. And he met this kid named Billy Strayhorn, who was 21, who had wanted to, I don't want to give the whole story away, but he had wanted to be a concert pianist, and he was a prodigy. He was incredibly gifted, used to play the piano in the he and his family lived in a boarding house, and the prostitutes who lived next door had a piano, and he would go play on that, and earned enough money when he was quite young to buy himself piano lessons. Anyway, so he got into this conservatory in Philadelphia. And his dream was to be a concert pianist, and he was basically told you can't because you're Black. So he was looking for other ways to express his musical abilities. Anyway, he auditioned kind of for Duke Ellington, and Ellington was like, oh, this guy is special. And what Strayhorn could do was he could play in the style of anyone. So he could play in the style of Duke Ellington, and then became his sort of stand-in, his band leader, his collaborator. He wrote a ton of music for him, including the anthem that I think most people think of when they think of Duke Ellington, which is Take the A Train. That was actually a great story, which I won't
It's just
tell
an amazing,
here.
iconic piece. Yeah.
So anyway, and he was gay, and he was very determined to live openly, and so he was,
which at that time is unheard of.
It wasn't entirely unheard of, but it made it very difficult for him to be a star in his own right, because that was still a disadvantage. So
wow.
Anyway, so that's a really interesting
That's a great.
story.
I mean, listen, they're. What's interesting is I'll often know one of the names, but not both.
Right.
And then like Benedict Arnold. I know that name.
Mm-hmm.
You did Benedict Arnold and Peggy Shippen. I had heard a little bit about Peggy Shippen. That's a fascinating story, how those two work together in positive, negative ways. I love that you cast, as Benedict Arnold, you cast Andy Richter, which resonates with me in so many ways. The series opens up so many different great ideas about how people help each other, also can get in the way, and how it's a dynamic. Everything's a dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about how that idea of perhaps and that is it a koan? There's some piece of ancient wisdom, I don't want to misdescribe it, that talks about how everything's basically dependent on how you frame it. So this thing happened, it's a tragedy. At the same time, maybe it prevented something else from happening that would have been worse. And I think these stories are all about that kind of, this is the worst matchup ever, although they did help each other in this way. And
Right.
I just think that makes it more interesting and more true. I think it's really human to want things to be simple. And I think there's a lot of oversimplification that happens all the time, especially now. And this kind of doesn't allow for that. These
Stories allow for a complicated narrative, but you listen to them and they're great stories. And I come away and I always want to know more about, the Nietzsche one blew me.
That's such a great one.
Elizabeth Forster Nietzsche and Friedrich Nietzsche. And
she was really, a lot of this I owe to the books that I do read that, there's usually some take by the author that's really helpful. And the one that I really appreciated with that was that, his big thing was all about this will to power, that like you're supposed to will yourself into the best version of yourself that you can be. And she really embodied that in a way that was terrifying. And she was incredibly ambitious. And he's been misunderstood a lot, I think, and I'm not claiming to be the one who understands him best at all, but he was anti-nationalist. He didn't believe in statehood. He had lived through war and thought it was abhorrent. And his sister marries an anti-Semite who's trying to found a pure racist colony in Paraguay. He thinks that's disgusting. He stops speaking to them. And then by the end of his life, he was so incapacitated that she finagled a way to become his, caretaker, his minder, his power of attorney, all of that, and used him kind of as a prop that she would walk people past, and she was hanging out with fascists, and Hitler came to her funeral.
This is what you're going to do to me.
I cannot wait. I'm picking up so many good pointers. Many tips.
I plan on becoming incapacitated, and I know Liza's just going to...
Becoming.
More incapacitated. But what I'm saying is... I don't always ask you to carry me to the toilet, but...
you don't always ask.
And I don't always ask. Sometimes I should. Anyway, we got off track. My point is, I love your podcast, and I'm not saying it because you're making me, which you did. No, she's got a gun.
That begs the question, season 12 Conan and Liza episode?
Right.
Yeah.
That episode. Well, that's the one where I'm in a wheelchair. Incapacitated. This is months from now. And Liza's bringing people by, and she's promoting me as a great nationalist figure.
All those great aphorisms that you've recorded.
Yeah, like Nietzsche.
Yes.
Yeah. That usually involve nonsense words.
Exactly.
Don't be a gibble when you can bibble.
Yeah.
I be who I be. There was a big refrain last night. It was a lot of I be who I be.
Please. No one needs to know about our private life.
Just ripping off Popeye?
You try singing that
Which
to the
came
Game of Thrones,
first?
too.
Yeah.
We were rewatching Game of Thrones, and I insist on singing loudly my own lyrics, which is I be who I be, and I be. And Liza's like, you've got, and my son is like, if you do that again, we're not fucking watching this. That's the significant other. And then I be who I be. So now they don't even watch the openings anymore, as beautiful as they are. We watch it for the nudity. Anyway,
ruin things.
I am a ruiner.
You're a ruiner.
But anyway, I love that you've gotten everyone at at Team Coco.
Oh my God, we'd be lost without everybody
Gourley,
here.
Adam, Blay, Eduardo, Hopping, Erica Brown,
Everyone.
Hayes, Chills. They've all read lines for the episodes.
Erica Brown? No.
Yep.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Eric, you got Erica Brown on
And
a
she
microphone?
doesn't. She refuses to do a microphone, but she does it because she likes Liza.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can ever ask her for anything again. I think I used up all of my credit with her for the rest of time.
Oh my God.
She did not enjoy the experience, but she sounds great.
Yeah.
Ted Danson was here recording something, and
nicest man
I've
ever met.
Yes.
Well, he's right up there
Nice
with me.
Tall drink of water
Well,
too.
I'm tall
Easy
too.
on the eyes.
Still
Me
handsome.
too.
Yeah, I know. He still got
Was
it.
on television
it.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep. Both of us
Confident,
know what it's like.
Cool.
Yep.
Friendly.
Just the coolest guy.
I'm a good bartender. Anyway,
What?
I was on Cheers. I know I was. Anyway, you got him helping out. It's just great. I'm very excited about it. It premieres on Valentine's Day, and it's called Significant Others, and that is you. That is Liza Powell O'Brien running the show.
Is that another one of your aphorisms? That is you.
That is you.
That is you.
That is you, says
that
I.
makes more sense than most of
That
them.
be
I have
you,
to say.
is what I would say. And Sona, someday we'll do one about your significant other, Tack.
Yeah.
I'd love
But
that.
would it be about him and how I'm about his like love for like karate and stuff? Are you
It
going
would
to
be
do
a-
a whole thing about Chernobyl? Are you going to make it like a fake one?
Why? It's not my thing.
Okay,
It's,
all right.
It's Liza's thing.
Sorry.
It's
Will you tell
legitimate.
Will you tell the story you texted me yesterday? I thought that was great.
God. Well, yeah. So he went on, he's going to hate me for saying this, but he went on like an intensive karate weekend, which they do twice a year and it always is in different places. And this time it was in Pasadena, which is 10 minutes from our house. And he takes it so seriously that instead of coming home and sleeping because there's no room in the gym, he slept in his car for 2 nights. And in the middle of winter.
To be
Yes!
close to the dojo.
To be close to where they were practicing. But I think
He's so having an affair.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Every time I tell Liza I've got an intensive karate weekend, she knows I'm meeting Muriel on Catalina.
You know what? It's actually
yeah.
it's worse if he's not.
I know.
You know what I mean?
know, yeah.
he is though, because I've met all his karate friends. I mean, it's possible. I think I'd feel better if he was having an affair.
See,
That's
I'm,
what I mean.
otherwise
I'm
it's
already
just-
thinking
That's what I mean.
you've got to. These are very beautifully crafted historical documents that you've made. They're really great. They're really great to listen to. You walk away from each one learning more.
Yes.
But I do want you to take a break from that and do one about Sona and Tack. It's about him sleeping at his car and his quote on his quote karate weekend.
Sorry, Tack.
And it's in there, and it's in there with all these other great figures. It's in there with George Putnam and Amelia Earhart, and Bayard Rustin and Martin Luther King Jr.
George Orwell.
Tack and
Salvador
Sona.
Dali.
Yeah.
Tack and Sona.
Yeah, karate weekend.
I know, but you know what? I did see his SUV. He had a whole setup in the back of his car.
That's what I do when I go to Catalina to meet Muriel.
Yeah.
I put a bunch of karate.
Wait, how are you getting your car to
I own a
Cali?
seaplane.
Okay, fine.
I have 2 different sets of books. I have 2 accountants. You've never seen it.
Liza's not even angry. She just wants to know the logistics of how you do it.
Well, we have talked about this, which is
Yeah, that
I've
great
said to
line.
Liza, which is that, if you ever found out that I was having an affair, wouldn't your first thought be to be kind of impressed at my time management skills? Because that's all I ever think about when I watch movies where someone's having an affair. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I couldn't keep all that straight.
Yeah, it's true. It's
The
a
ma-
lot of
I
work.
couldn't. Yeah, all that. That's you know what I mean. We are just
barely hanging on with our very basic.
We are very committed to
vanilla.
each other, monogamous relationship, but we can
It's
barely
more than enough.
we can barely keep it going because there's like, oh wait, who's picking up our son? Wait, but when are we going to the airport? There's all that stuff. Who's taking the dog to the? And then
Who
the idea.
threw out the mayonnaise?
Who
That
threw
was a big one the other day.
Oh, sounds
Oh
fraught.
man,
You
I was,
guys.
and also I think it hadn't expired. But anyway, I wanted a tuna fish sandwich with mayo, and suddenly there's no mayo. That didn't go well. But my significant other said, "I'll make you some."
It's true.
And
I
she
did.
made me mayonnaise from
I
scratch.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
Wasn't very good, but-
That's a win-win.
Yes, and it was better than the regular
sure.
mayonnaise.
Wow.
So anyway, that was a win-win. But
This is riveting. I can't wait to hear about this on your episode.
but wait a minute. What I'm saying is, if on top of all of that, I had to get on the seaplane to Catalina to meet Muriel and bring her the, whatever, the avocados she loves to eat. who can keep track of all that shit?
Very diverse taste in women.
Yes, I was going to say.
And you know what?
I do love an avocado.
And you know what?
though.
She's really unpleasant.
We got it. Yeah.
Why are you late? I had to, because I was doing a podcast where I was promoting license. Why are you promoting her podcast? Why can't I have one? Hey, is that my avocado? Chomp.
Then she's super old and there's nothing sexual about it.
She is 82 years old.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. She was a nurse in the Korean War. Anyway, as stupid as this podcast is,
I know. I'm sorry, Liza.
I'm going to say this. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I'm so proud of you. And I think this is an incredible piece of work. So I'm excited about the new season, Significant Others, wherever you get your podcast, season 2, premiering on Valentine's Day. Subscribe where you get your podcasts.
Hi, my name's Kurt Russell.
Yeah. So far, so good.
And I feel, about Conan O'Brien. I feel totally justified about being Conan.
Hey, I like
O'Brien.
that. You like that. It was like it was in question.
Yes.
But you stuck with it over the years. We just talked to an audience member who said his mom just doesn't get it. Now your turn, sir.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Russell, and I feel a strong sense of impending doom about being Nobody's making it out of this room. It's actually an escape room. You guys are fucked.
This should be an escape room.
That'd be actually
We've already
fun.
had like 3 audience members try to get out. Try
You're
to get
going
out
nowhere.
of here. And it's like, and you're like, did you notice? No, I just want away from this man.
I hope you like this room because we're going to be here for a week.
We have a fan here who's wearing a tribute Conan wig right there. Which I think
Boy,
is,
that's close.
it's very close. Thanks a lot, Kurt. Hey, I want to meet up with Kurt Russell in Miami and have him insult me. That's one of my lifelong dreams. You know, I have to say, I've grown up with you. I love so much of. I mean, gee, you have this incredible movie career. You've made so many different types of movie. Like you've inhabited more genres than just about anyone I can think of. There's no clear like path line in your career, is there? It's just you've made all these iconic movies. It's amazing.
Keep going. You're doing okay.
And that's all our time. No, I've always been thrilled to talk to you because
I've always enjoyed you. We were just talking outside. You're actually funny, and you're fun, and you're nice. I don't know. You're just a really good
you're
guy.
actually funny.
and a really good
That's
guy.
I want that on my gravestone. Actually funny. But you know what's amazing is that I was introduced to your son a couple of years ago. I didn't even realize it was your son. I'm watching, one of my favorite shows is Black Mirror, and I'm watching this Black Mirror episode starring this young actor who I didn't recognize, big beard, and it is a acting tour de force. And I watched it. I was like, who is that guy? That guy is absolutely fantastic. And then I find out it's Wyatt. It's your boy. And I'm like, that guy killed it. You absolutely killed it. And I thought, and what's interesting is neither one of you started out thinking you'd be an actor. You both started out as athletes.
Yeah.
Who got injured. And then, I mean, it started with you. You played baseball.
Yeah.
You were a child actor. And then you said, no, it's going to be baseball, right?
Well, the only reason I got into acting was because my dad wasn't. I did everything my dad did. My dad was an actor, and he looked like he was having a fun life. And I wanted to get some bicycles for my sister and myself, and I had a paper route. And then I started to thank you, listening. See,
Man, he does everything.
He takes care of me.
Could you adjust my lighting as well?
Absolutely.
Anyway, I had the opportunity to go in on some interviews and stuff, and I got a job, and the minimum pay scale was enough to pay for those 2 bicycles. So I asked him, I said, so is this pretty much it? And he said, yeah. I said, well, he said, if you want to do it, call Hilda up. He's my dad's agent. Call her up and tell her you want to, keep doing it. So I did, and that was why I got into it. I was playing baseball, and then that was sort of what I thought I was going to do for sure, and didn't really think about acting as something that I was going to continue with. I did like writing a lot. I liked acting; it was really fun, and the money in it was just sort of unbelievable for what you're doing. You're having fun. You're just having a good time, and then I guess when I got hurt out of baseball. I played 3 years of pro ball, and then I and I was doing well. So it was a big surprise to me. And then I said, well, what am I going to do really? After crying for 3 days. And I said, I guess, well, maybe I'll, stick with that. I can always do that. And then I realized, if I'm going to do this, I got to be really interested and I'm going to have to do this my way. And my way was to try to create characters. Memorable characters where you say, I remember that character or that character in really fun stories or great stories. And then I just got lucky, had the opportunity to work with some really great directors and some great material. And then, still doing it.
Who's the one, do you think is Snake Plissken the one that follows you around the most? Or is it, you've done so many different things
it's funny.
You never know when you bump into someone, is it going to be one of the Tarantino movies? Is it going to be Snake Plissken? Is it going to be?
It just changes. And the biggest one I've ever had is Santa Claus. I mean, that was Santa Claus on Netflix was just, everybody saw it. I mean, it was really fun to do. It was something I always wanted to do. Kind of fun to go from Snake to Santa Claus, over your career.
They're basically the same character. I've always thought
what is interesting about it is living in the family that we live in. Obviously, Goldie's an icon, and Kate, nominated for an Academy Award, like second crack out of the box, and Oliver Hudson done more work than all of us combined.
Right.
And always there was this thing that, we used to, not kiddingly, I was serious about it. The best actor in the family is a hockey player. So, and along came the hockey player.
Okay, so you grow up and you think, I'm not going to be an actor, right? You weren't interested in that. You were interested in hockey.
Yeah. Well, it's like you've got your kids. Like, do they want anything to do with show business?
It's so funny that you say that because my boy Beckett, when he was about 6. Because I always trying to kept them away from what I did, because I was deeply ashamed of it. And I mean, this guy's cool. What am I doing? But my son came and saw me do a big show, like at the Beacon Theater. I mean, I don't know, 2,500 or 3,000 people. Crowd going wild, really good, hot show. My son, my wife took my son, who was about 6, and he saw it. And then they're leaving the theater, and she's holding his hand. And she said, "What'd you think?" And he said, "When I grow up, I want to do something where there's no stage and no audience."
Yeah.
And he was basically saying, what that guy's doing, I want to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So he's really into computers. He's a really smart kid. He's going to have, I think he's a brilliant guy. He's going to have a great life. Yeah, and he's not. He appreciates what I do, but he's like, no, not me.
Right.
So when you were a kid,
that's what it was, because you see what it is on screen and it's fun and whatever, but when you're like 6 years old and you go to a Kings game and that energy is directed towards your parents, who are just your parents, it's like really off-putting and scary in a way. You're 6 or 5 or whatever it is. And I grew up with that, and I was like, I just want to watch a Kings game with my dad, but you can't. And so that really seeped in, and I was like, well, I just don't want to do that. It's not something that interests me. At that time, also, you don't understand like what an artistic avenue can give you when you get older. And so I was focusing on hockey. It just he took me to my first rink in Toronto. I was 3 years old. My mom was doing a movie, and I can swear to God to you, as cheesy as it sounds, it's like my first real memory where I was on an ice rink outdoors in Toronto. I would skate from like bench to bench, and it stuck with me in this way that I was like, this is what I want to do. And I swear, from 4 years old, I was like, I'm going to be a hockey player. It also differentiated myself from what they did, and from a very early age.
Yeah, it's important to have your own thing, especially when your parents are so dominant in a field. You want to find your own way.
Yeah, it's really important, and also they never brought work home, like ever. So it was just having fun, sports, playing hockey, baseball, whatever it was. So that was like,
they didn't act like celebrities around the house, like movie stars,
like we normally do.
Like they normally do. Yeah. I mean, I did.
Because I do. When I come home,
yeah.
When I come home, I'm in full makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you have any idea who and what I am?
A little applause would be nice to come home to.
We have an applause light at our table, and I'm always leaning on it. Let's have a little applause.
I had to learn how to do my dad's hair from a very early age.
You don't get your Eggo waffle until I get 3 minutes of applause.
But yeah, I did that, and then when it came time to be, he was really good, sports parent, obviously playing sports. And when I was about 10, he said, look, you're good at this. And if you're still wanting to do this when you're like 12, 13, then it gets real. And, and it's not as fun anymore, but it becomes a different thing. And if you do, I'll always support it. And I did. And I told him, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then we ended up moving to Vancouver for me to play junior hockey. And that was my career path. And that's how I gained all of my, that's where I learned how to do everything in my life.
And you were playing professional hockey like in Germany and had fans hanging outside your house.
Yes.
You would wake up in the morning and there's just fans. I mean, you had real success.
Well, it was it was a small town. I would real success is a big stretch. But it was
Let's
pro
just
hockey.
say compared to my athletic career, you killed it. You killed it.
But like, I don't know, the guy who ran the social media for the team was a bit of an idiot, and he like put my address on like Facebook, on my like Facebook profile. And one day after we won the championship, I woke up to fans outside my door like wanting to get in. So at like 7:30 in the morning, I was drinking Weiss beer and pretzels with like, because it felt like safer to let them in somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
I always let fans into the house. I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah. So that went well. And then I played in Holland for a little while, and then I got hurt. I tore my hip apart, and that's when I really was like, look, I mean, I don't want to say I shouldn't do film, because I really think it's great. And I started watching movies. I had a hip injury prior to this, and it started to be like, well, maybe I won't do this forever, you know? Like, I got to figure out something else. And I started watching movies. I started with like the AFI 100, and I love movies. I went to USC film school in the summertime, made friends that weren't hockey players, and just realized like how much fun the entertainment industry can be if you do it on your own terms. I always felt like having that, you know, your son probably feels the same. Like it's like directed at you, towards you. There's nothing you can do about it. It feels helpless. You get a little older and you're like, well, actually I can kind of do it my own way. Which has been great. And it was like, well, I'll go down swinging in a ball of fire. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'll,
but he also had worked. You know, he did a little moment in picture John Carpenter movie that I did with John, Escape from L.A. And then he did.
That's right. You had a scene where you're supposed to kick Snake in the shin. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or no. I'm sorry. You're supposed to sneer at him. You're supposed to.
But it's funny. You combined two stories. Yeah. He kicks Elvis in the shin.
Elvis in the shin. That's right.
See, I thought that was funny, but it was just mistaken.
Yeah. Well, most of my big laughs are me just misspeaking. Yeah. But yeah, that's right. You as a child actor were in an Elvis movie.
Yeah, where I
and you got to
shins,
kick Elvis in the shin.
Yeah. But I mean, he was there, and he had this small thing to do. And I said, "Well, you're a kid in prison, but you're the only guy in here who's not afraid of Snake Plissken." So when I look at you, you look back at me like, you know, what are you looking at, buddy?
Yeah.
And so then we found this tape, or somebody sent it recently, or it's on the internet or whatever. Yeah. And somebody did a little thing, and then he said, "Yeah, what are you in for?" He said, "I'm in for what was it? Eating a hamburger, which you would know red meat, and it was the deal. I'm in for eating a hamburger and selling cigarettes." And so when he looked at me and John came over to me and went, "That kid's not afraid of you, man. That's really great."
Right.
And then I did a movie called Soldier, where the whole beginning of the movie is about these kids who are really they're brought up to be soldiers because they show aggression, or they show this, or they show that. Right. Character I was playing was the one you're going to follow later on, and he played him, and he's really he's like one of the best things, or if not the best thing in the movie. And the director once again said, "Man, he's really good." And I said, "Yeah," and he had actually pointed something out to me where he thought it was a mistake. I went down and talked to the director about it. We looked at the video. He was on top of it. And it was very clear that this was going to be something.
And then I directed Soldier.
and never got paid for it. Yeah. I think now to me, what I'm hearing is you both grew up with this sense that it's a craft. You got to work hard. Obviously, athletes know there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of hard work, and that all informs the fact that it doesn't seem like either of you, there's no entitlement. And I've always had that sense, because I've been around you a bunch of times, that you are a guy who likes to work hard. You see this as a craft. You see this as something that's a job, and that was kind of the way you grew up. And clearly, you have that too, Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, look, growing up where we live, you see entitlement all around you, and it's like, I don't know why the fuck you'd ever look at that and be like, that's what I want to be. I want to be an entitled asshole. Like it's like,
here's where you and I differ. It's all I've ever wanted, but no one lets me get away with it. I desperately want to be entitled.
But yeah, I was in Lakewood and Culver City, and hockey is played in places in California where they're not in the greatest areas. Like Norwalk, we had to be walked to the rink from the car by parents because there were drive-by shootings in the 90s.
Right.
And it was you saw a different side of the world. And then when I went to go play in different, you billet, you don't like live with your family always after they left Vancouver when I was like 16, 17. I lived with different families in Chicago and Toronto. And you just live with other people, so you get to see a real sense of like what the world is like. Obviously, it's not a real sense of the world is like in Los Angeles where we live. So yeah, that's like it's like my greatest fear in the world is somebody being like, "What an entitled dick."
You're making me think about
my worst fear.
You're making me think about Norwalk. It was like, of course, I was probably the only parent that said, "No, go ahead, you'll be fine."
Right? Yeah.
If you get shot, just walk it off.
Hey, it's hockey, Wyatt. You gotta tell them. Come on.
It's interesting because a couple of years ago, I love Tarantino's movies, and I know that you've been in a couple, and you did Once Upon a Time in L.A.
Yeah.
And playing this stunt coordinator. And what's interesting is I read this interview with Tarantino where he said, Kurt's one of the only guys I can talk to who, because he's making a movie about L.A. in 68, 69, Kurt knew all these people. You experienced that world. And he said, you informed so much of, like he picked your brain about what was LA like back then, because you started out doing, Disney films early on.
Yeah.
And did a lot of television early on.
We were just working, working actors.
My brother Neil is a TV head, and I swear to God, I wake up this morning, he's like, ask him about being on Lost in Space. And I'm like, no.
I mean, you should, because it's a good one for your world. My character's name was Guano.
Yeah.
Do you know what? But they finally figured out after the show, it's like, you know what guano means?
Yeah.
Bad shit. To play Michael Ansara's kid. That was one of the first experiences I ever had where I was kind of like, yeah, I know what I want to do here. And because Michael Ansara was bald.
Yeah.
And we were, it was Lost in Space. You're not on Earth. You're somewhere out there. And I went, oh, great. I know what I want to do. And I don't know how, I don't remember how I convinced it. I said, I want to be bald too.
Right.
So I got to play a character that was, I looked like that. We were clearly not from Pacoima,
Yeah, from a different planet.
But Big Pa knew all those. Wasn't a lot of that based on Big Pa?
Yeah,
your dad had worked in film, but had he done television as well?
No, my dad, worked for a long time. He put, shoes on his kids' feet and food on the table by being an actor, and he did everything. He worked for a long time, but he was we kind of looked at each other as plumber actors. Just take your work pail and go to work, But with Quentin, we talked a lot about stuff. He loves the history of Hollywood, and he probably knows it as well as anybody. And so he does. It's more than picking your brain. It's where you're going to go out and have a good time. And he used a lot of the conversation. I think the things that he has learned over the years from many different people, and it was very nice that he made a dedication in the book that he wrote about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he did have me come over to his house to read it. And it was really interesting because I think he wanted me to read it in the lair, and it was right in the heart. He loves living where he lives, in the heart of Hollywood, as it were. Yeah. And it was a great feeling. And I must say, I said to him, I don't know if there's anybody alive who can appreciate this as much as me, because it was like my life, it was like completely. I understand everything about it,
I have a fascination with that era. So there's a clip you can see online. I guess someone in like 1966 just drove along Sunset Boulevard. And now today everyone has a phone, but back then it was very rare for people to, have a color film camera, and someone just shot out their windshield driving along the Sunset Strip in 1966. And it's a different world. And I've looked at that thing so many times. I love time travel, and that's just an amazing. You look at that LA, and we don't live in that LA anymore. It's gone, but it's so strange and so different.
I love watching those videos. It is a sense of nostalgia that you're like, oh wow, and you're living back in that time. I'm sure you go back in that time and you're like, this is a fucking nightmare. Get me back into 2023. Yeah. But no, I know those ones where you kind of like they put it on the hood of a car and they just kind of drift through Los Angeles.
Yeah, they drive through LA and you see what the cars look like, how the people dressed, what.
It's strange. It is strange to me to live long enough to see that there really is a difference as time goes by, because I always kind of feels the same to me,
Yeah.
But you're why was telling me, Gak, this is cool because we have something fun for you. But you're a pretty serious history buff.
Yes,
you like.
I love reading history. Yeah,
this is cool. I gotta. He said
now,
that.
It could be totally false.
No, I don't think it is. Though.
I don't think it is.
No, I think this one's pretty verified.
So, there was a time where I wasn't working very much, and I subscribed to Ancestry.com, like a 75-year-old grandmother.
Yeah,
and so I got obsessed with like following the history of our family.
Yeah,
it was like, our history of family is cool, and so you go back a couple generations, it keeps going back, and it gives you these like leaf hints, right?
Yeah.
This is also, I'm getting paid by Ancestry.com right now.
And I enjoy driving a Porsche. Never works.
And so it just kept going back, and it was like to the Gackenbacks and all these different people that we were in, and then it always shows war records, right? Like that's it traces your family history through war records. Goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War, when everybody in our family, for whatever reason, has fought in a war.
This is the Russell side.
The Russell side of the family. We get to 10 generations back from me. His name is Jason Russell Jr. On the first day of the Revolutionary War, the shot heard around the world at Lexington and Concord.
Yep.
When the Minutemen retreated, there was a house, and they took refuge in the house. They sheltered in the house. The Redcoats surrounded the house, went in, shot everybody in the house, bayoneted the owner of the house 11 times. And it turns out that the owner of that house was Jason Russell Jr., who is our direct lineage great-grandfather.
That's insane.
On that day, it was the bloodiest day of fighting on the first day of the Revolutionary War
in the
house.
If only it had a Ring camera. Ding dong. Hello. You want to come in? Nobody here.
Well, the joke is, is like that. It's this patriotic story, and he got bayoneted at his door, and the story is he came back from his family, sent his family away, and he came back, and the Redcoats came in and they stabbed him, and I was like, well, how do you know he wasn't going to the door and being like, they're in here? They're in there. No, not me.
I love the king.
Yeah, exactly.
Lisa Kudrow has a lineage show, and she approached me a number of years ago, and she said, we find prominent people and we do their lineage. And she and I have been friends for a long time, and she said, would you take a swab and we'll find your lineage? And I said, I promise you're not going to find anything. And she said, Conan, everyone says that, but we always find, no, you're related to, Winston Churchill, you're related to, it's so cool, you're going to see. And I said, you'll see. Didn't hear from her for 6 months. And then I call her and I go, Lisa, I never heard back from you. And she went, there's nothing. A Real Pain co-stars you, Kieran Culkin, as cousins. And I saw a trailer first before I saw the film, as often happens. And the second I saw you and Kieran together, I was just, this is going to be great.
Oh, thanks.
Because I adore both of you. I think you're both fantastic actors, but you also both play very well different registers. And the two of you play these cousins who, in many ways, could not be more different. And it's, for a movie that has a lot of dark and meaningful subtext, you two are so funny and real together.
Oh, thanks.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's funny because I hadn't really seen his work ever. I mean, really, I just had this instinct that there was no one else on the planet who could do it. I met him at an audition for this movie Adventureland. I was already cast in the movie, and he came in to audition for it. And in the audition, he like literally grabbed my nipples and twisted them. It was in the script. In the script, he was supposed to like punch me in the balls, and a lot of actors are coming in, and no one touched me that day because it was auditions. You know what I mean? Right. And like and yet Kieran punched me in the balls and then grabbed my nipples, twisted them, and was so brilliantly funny in the audition that he didn't even get the role. But he actually wasn't cast. But I remember he left.
Wasn't cast because he sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
There was a whole. He had to do a little time. He had to go away for a bit.
And Screen Actors Guild, they do take you back after a probatory period. But anyway, but basically, like he left the room, and the director and I turned to each other. I was like, that was unbelievable. This guy is amazing. And that was like in 2009, I think. And I just had this image, I think, in my unconscious, or this feeling of being around a guy who's so funny, who's so magnetic, and who doesn't kind of give a shit about, at that point, like being polite or being like the obsequious auditioning actor of like, how, so happy to be here. And a guy who just immediately manhandled me. And it's kind of what the movie is. Like in the movie, I pay for the trip. I have the family.
Well, let's lay it out for people just because, I never like to give too much away, but it is a really lovely movie and like a tone poem, but also it's a travel story. It's the story of two cousins that, you're taking this very meaningful trip. Your grandmother, who
she survived in the story, the war.
She survived the camps.
Right.
She in Poland, and she managed to survive. And so you guys are coming back as part of this tour to tour Poland, see some of the sites. You visit a concentration camp, and then you go to see the home where she lived. And this all sounds very heavy. And appropriately, there are moments like that, but it's also, you're two guys who are very different. You used to be much closer.
Right.
You've taken very different paths.
Right.
And he is so good. You're so good at being, in a kind of Felix and Oscar way, you're so good at being very high strung and trying to hold it all together, and very responsible. And he is so irresponsible in these very funny ways. And I was watching this movie thinking, well, there can be more movies where you two, I mean, you two characters can do anything. Because it's just going to be funny, but there's also, it's real. It's very meaningful.
That's so nice of you to say. And actually, the original script was set in Mongolia. I was like 30 pages into this script of these two guys going to Mongolia to visit an old friend.
You're the new Hope and Crosby. You're going to do travel, you just look it up, kids. It's a really good reference.
Yeah, next week we're going to the Orient, But it was basically like, and so like I had this great dynamic, and then the movie, this Mongolia script was not going well, and this is kind of funny, but like the script was not going well. I was 30 pages into the script, and an ad popped up on the internet for Auschwitz tours, and then in parentheses, with lunch.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
That's what it said? Auschwitz, parentheses, with lunch?
No, Auschwitz tours.
Auschwitz tours, yeah.
With lunch.
Yeah.
With lunch.
I know, I'm getting it.
I know. Should I say it again? I can come closer. So basically, and I was like, first of all, I knew immediately what the ad was for. I mean, but the implication of what the ad was for, which was just, you want to do tours, but
the ad's a little tone deaf. Let's say you can mention with lunch maybe elsewhere.
Maybe put an asterisk there and then address the asterisk after you click the banner. But basically, but actually what they're appealing to is exactly why the ad is tone deaf, because they're appealing to yuppies who want to, instead of going to Rome this holiday, now you're going to go to Auschwitz, and you're doing your responsible tourism, which is a good thing to do anyway. But as soon as I saw that, I took the characters out of Mongolia and I set them on this Polish trip. But that was really the feeling, is like you could drop these characters in anywhere, in any scene, and it will still be amusing. And so, like what you said, like they're going to all of these places fraught with, the history of trauma. And yet the characters have like an appealing bond that you can kind of just repeat and further uncover.
There's also this feeling that we've all had. There are moments in the film where you're meant to feel something.
Yeah.
And you're not quite feeling it in the same magnitude that you feel you should be feeling it. And I thought that is something we've all experienced.
Yeah.
where you go to a hallowed space or you're learning about something. And I mean, I'm a history buff and I've been to many places where very traumatic things happen. And then you're like, well, we're going to miss the tram if we don't get moved. You know,
Exactly.
It's very weird.
It's very weird.
It's very weird to lay the two on each other.
Yes, I've thought about this so much, not just because of making the movie, but because I do the same kind of tourism. I've been to the Rwandan Genocide Museum in Kigali and in Cambodia, the, killing fields. I'm fascinated with this kind of tourism. And yes, there's always the weird part of it. Like, we have to get lunch on the way there. Do we get bad lunch because bad things happened here?
Right.
Or do we get the lunch we like because we want to have the energy to tour this place? And it's so weird. So in the movie, the characters are like kind of trying to reconcile that disconnect, this necessary disconnect. Like, we're on the train going to a concentration camp and we have first class seats because the exchange rate in Poland allows for us to have this, we're on a yuppie tour of Poland. And Kieran's character cannot stand the fact that we're in first class. But like, coach is not that much better. You know what I mean?
No, he's saying how, our people were put on trains in Poland in this terrible situation to be killed.
Right.
And here we are 70 years later on a train with really cushy seats, eating this fancy meal in first class. This isn't right. And he goes storming off to go to another class. Yeah. And one of the characters yells out, "It's not going to be that much worse." There. And so to me, the beauty of the film is when you can kind of dance on a knife's edge between the darkness, but also the humanity that is. People are imperfect. We don't always feel exactly what we're supposed to feel. It's impossible for us, There's always someone in the room who, if you say, "Oh my God, I just bit into this sandwich and it's got mold all over it. This is terrible." "Oh yeah? Well, guess what?"
Yeah, exactly.
I had this, some people never got to have a sandwich and they're dead. And so you can't always pull it. No, I still want the good sandwich.
Right.
I don't want mold on my sandwich. I'm sorry that someone else didn't get a sandwich 800 years ago, but God damn it, I want the good one.
Yes, but also, what if you did also have this kind of residual guilt that other people didn't have the sandwich and your moldy sandwich is not something to even have pity for? You know what I mean? Like, there could be a version of you that goes like, "Oh my God, yeah, you're right. I'm feeling bad over something I haven't earned."
Yes.
Not that that's a good feeling to have, but
I had a similar experience. Your movie is about, because this is based on something you've done. You and your wife, your family have taken trips. Poland is very important to you.
Yeah. I mean, my family.
I'm telling you. I'm not asking
thanks.
you. I'm just telling you that Poland is important to you.
Are there any other countries I should look into as being important?
You're also into Guam.
Okay, so protectorates, yes.
Yeah. Man, you're chalking up the points left and right. But I mean, I know that that's something that reflects part of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like the house we filmed the movie at, that the characters wind up at the end of the movie, is the house my family lived in up until 1939. And my wife and I kind of took this trip, but not on like a guided tour, and went to all these cities. And all the stories that the characters tell are basically just stories from my family. I just, insert them in these kind of, fictionalized ways.